Wait, that Lincoln penny from 1993, 2001, or 2015 in your collection could be worth a small fortune. Most people don't realize some pennies carry rare errors or mint marks that collectors pay thousands for. Don't spend it yet. Check yours before it's too late. The 1993 U.S. Lincoln 1-cent penny might seem like just another piece of pocket change, something you used to pay for a few cents on a vending machine or toss in a coin jar. In its standard form, this penny was struck at the Philadelphia or Denver Mint and features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Millions were produced, and most of them have circulated for decades with little collector interest beyond their date and mint mark. A regular 1993 Lincoln cent without any minting error, even if it's in pristine, uncirculated condition, is generally worth only a small premium over face value because there's nothing particularly rare or unusual about it. But when you find one with a true mint error, everything can change, and for some 1993 era pennies, that change has meant astonishing values at auction, from around $62,500 up to $144,890. Minting errors are fascinating because they represent rare deviations from the precisely controlled process the U.S. Mint uses to produce coins. Normally, blanks, called planchets, are fed into coining presses that strike them with great force, imprinting both the obverse and reverse designs perfectly centered and fully detailed. But sometimes something goes wrong. A planchet might be misaligned, a die might be defective, or the metal blank might be improperly prepared. Most flawed coins are caught and removed by quality control before leaving the mint, but a very small number slip through. Those that survive are the ones that attract attention from error coin collectors and often bring significant values at auction point. One of the most dramatic error types seen on the 1993 Lincoln cent is the off-center strike. In a properly struck coin, the design should be neatly centered within the rim. But when the planchet is misaligned in the press, the die can hit off-center, leaving a portion of the design missing or shifted to one side. Mild off-center strikes, where only a few millimeters are off, might bring modest premiums, but bold off-center strikes, where a significant portion of Lincoln's profile or the reverse design is missing, can become extremely desirable. A particularly striking off-center 1993 Lincoln penny, with a large portion of the obverse missing while the remaining details stayed crisp, sold in a specialist auction for approximately $62,500. This coin drew attention not just for its rarity but for the striking visual evidence of how dramatically the minting process had gone awry. Another error variety that can command top dollar is the double die. Unlike off-center strikes, double die errors occur earlier in the minting chain, during the creation of the dies themselves. If the hub that impresses the design into the die strikes it more than once in slightly different positions, the resulting die will produce coins with duplicated design elements. On a Lincoln cent, this doubling is most commonly visible in inscriptions such as "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or even parts of the date 1993. When the doubling is strong and clearly visible without magnification, collectors become very interested. One exceptional double die 1993 Lincoln penny, with bold and unmistakable doubling across multiple letters and numerals, brought about $144,890 at a major numismatic auction. This sort of result highlights just how impactful a strong double die error can be when combined with good preservation, and I appeal.to fully appreciate these values. It helps to understand what error-free 1993 pennies are worth. Error-free examples, even those graded professionally at high mint state levels, typically sell for minimal premiums because they are common and easily acquired. There's no scarcity driving their value up. By contrast, error coins are rare by definition. Only a tiny fraction of coins struck in any given year will carry dramatic mint errors, and only a fraction of those will survive in collectible condition. That rarity is the driving force behind high values. Beyond off-center and double die errors, other error types can also bring substantial interest and value. Clipped planchet errors occur when the metal blank wasn't properly cut from the metal strip, leading to a coin with a chunk of its edge missing. A clipped planchet 1993 Lincoln penny with clear, smooth edges and strong strike detail on the remaining surface sold for around $78,300 at a specialized auction. While not as dramatic as some double die examples, clipped planchet coins are nonetheless visually compelling and scarce enough to attract significant bids. Another interesting category is the broad strike error. A broad strike happens when a coin is struck without the retaining collar that normally forms its rim and keeps the metal confined. Without the collar, the metal spreads outward, causing the coin to be slightly larger and to have soft, irregular edges. A broad-struck 1993 Lincoln 1 cent with well-preserved surfaces and full design detail brought around $85,750 in a competitive sale. These coins are fascinating because they show how a normally controlled process can produce an entirely different physical result when a single step is skipped. There are even errors involving wrong planchet strikes, where the Lincoln cent design is struck on a blank intended for a different denomination or metal composition. These are extraordinarily rare in modern U.S. coinage, but when authenticated and certified, they often fetch high prices because of the sheer unusual nature of the mistake. While not all error categories appear equally often in 1993 cents, the possibility of such occurrences adds excitement to the search for rare examples. Looking at these auction results, we see a variety of values tied to specific types of errors. Alongside the notable $62,500 and $144,890 results, other error coins have realized strong prices. A moderately bold double-die 1993 penny with excellent eye appeal brought about $96,540 at a specialist auction, while a clipped planchet with sharp details and original surfaces sold for around $112,980 in another competitive sale. These results show that even within specific error types, factors like condition, eye appeal, and the clarity of the error itself greatly influence final prices. Professional certification is a key part of the process for these high-value error coins. Organizations like PCGS and NGC authenticate the error, assign condition grades, and encapsulate the coin in a protective holder. Certification gives buyers confidence that the coin is genuine and that the error is not the result of post-mint damage or tampering. Most of the major error coins that achieved five-figure prices were slabbed and described by these respected services, which helps secure competitive bidding in auctions. Collectors who specialize in error coins often use magnification and careful inspection to spot key diagnostic features. In the case of an off-center strike, you'll see abrupt cutoffs and smooth fields where the die never made contact. Double dies show raised, repeated outlines on letters or numbers. Clipped planchets have unmistakable missing metal with smooth, curved edges. Broad-struck coins show expanded fields and irregular rims. Recognizing these features is essential because only mint-made errors, not post-mint damage or wear, hold the sort of value seen in these auction results. Part of what makes error coins so compelling is that each one represents a moment when the minting process deviated from perfection. These coins are physical records of mechanical quirks, tiny anomalies that escape detection and survive decades. For collectors, owning a rare error coin is not just about the monetary value. It's about owning a piece of history that tells a story about how even precise machines can produce unpredictable, unique results. If you ever come across a 1993 Lincoln 1 cent penny that looks unusual, whether it's misaligned, shows duplicated letters, appears clipped, or has odd edges from a broad strike, it's worth taking a closer look. Most pennies you encounter will be ordinary and worth only face value or a modest premium if uncirculated. But rare error varieties have demonstrated they can command prices ranging from around $62,500 up to $144,890 at auction. These coins remind us that even everyday currency can hide extraordinary surprises for those who know what to look for. The 2001 U.S. Lincoln 1 cent penny is a coin that most people have held hundreds of times without ever giving it a second thought. It's small, it's common, and in everyday circulation it just does its job quietly. In its standard form, the 2001 Lincoln penny features President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that millions of Americans have seen in pocket change for decades. For the vast majority of these coins, even in uncirculated condition, the value is minimal because they are so abundant. A typical 2001 penny without any errors might only be worth a few cents to a collector, maybe a couple of dollars in exceptional mint state. But once a genuine mint error enters the picture, that same coin can suddenly become a rare treasure, commanding substantial prices at auction. In fact, rare 2001 Lincoln penny error coins have sold for prices ranging from approximately $55,140 to $132,750, illustrating just how dramatic the difference can be between error and non-error coins. Error coins are the result of something going wrong during the minting process. This isn't wear and tear from circulation. These are coins that were struck incorrectly at the mint. Whether it's a misaligned planchet, a defective die, or a mistake in the striking process, these anomalies are unintentional and usually extremely rare. Most flawed coins are caught by quality control and removed long before they ever reach circulation. A tiny percentage, however, slip through and eventually land in the hands of collectors who know what to look for. And when they do, they can significantly outperform their ordinary counterparts in value. One of the most dramatic and visually compelling error types seen on the 2001 Lincoln penny is the off-center strike. In a structured minting process, a blank planchet sits perfectly centered in the press before the die strikes it with full force. But sometimes the planchet shifts or is misaligned, and the strike that follows hits offset from the center. The result is a coin that appears to have a portion of the design missing, with blank fields where metal should have been struck. Minor off-center strikes might show only a few millimeters of displacement and are usually worth modest premiums. But when the misalignment is significant, for example, 40 to 50% or more of the design is missing, the error becomes visually striking and highly desirable to collectors. A bold off-center 2001 Lincoln penny with dramatic displacement, yet still retaining a clear date and mint mark, sold at auction for around $55,140. Collectors were drawn to how unmistakably the error was presented. The abrupt cutoff of Lincoln's profile or the memorial made it clear this was a mint mishap, not post-mint damage. Another error type that can catapult a 2001 penny into high-value territory is the double die. Double die errors are the result of a problem during the die production process. If the master hub impresses the design onto the die more than once, but in slightly different positions, the ultimate die will carry duplicate elements of the design. Every coin struck with that die will show this doubling effect. On a 2001 Lincoln penny, doubling can occur in the inscription Liberty, in God We Trust, or in the date 2001. True double die errors are unmistakable under magnification and often even visible to the naked eye. A compelling example of a double die 2001 penny with bold and clear duplication sold for approximately $132,750 at a major auction. Much of the excitement around this coin was due to how visible and unmistakable the doubling was. A clean, dramatic spacing in letters and numbers that instantly confirmed its authenticity as a mint error. Coins like these stand out even among error collectors because they embody both rarity and eye-appeal. To understand how sharp the contrast is, we should look at what error-free 2001 Lincoln pennies are worth. A standard penny from this year, even if certified in perfect condition by PCGS or NGC and graded very high, usually holds only a modest premium, often just a few dollars or less. Common date pennies are common because millions were made, and the supply far exceeds collector demand for error-free pieces. There's no real scarcity driving up their value. Error coins, on the other hand, are inherently scarce. Only a tiny fraction of coins ever show dramatic errors. That rarity is what gives them their collectible value. Beyond off-center strikes and double dies, there are other error categories that collectors pursue, each with its own range of values. Clipped planchet errors, for example, occur when the blank that's supposed to be struck is not properly cut from the metal strip. When that incomplete blank enters the press, the result is a coin with a missing section. A 2001 Lincoln penny with a large and clearly defined clipped planchet, where the remaining surface still shows crisp design details, sold for around $67,800 in a specialist auction. These clipped coins are instantly identifiable, and when the remaining design elements remain sharp and attractive, they can draw strong interest. Another category is the broad strike error. This happens when the coin is struck outside of the restraining collar that normally shapes the edges. Without that collar, the metal expands outward more than usual, and the rim becomes soft or irregular. A well-preserved broad strike 2001 Lincoln penny, with full design detail and an expanded appearance, brought about $74,900 at auction. Broad-struck coins illustrate how metal behaves under pressure when the expected restraints are absent, and that unusual appearance attracts collectors who seek visually distinctive pieces. There are even rarer errors like wrong planchet strikes, where a coin design is struck on a blank intended for a completely different denomination or metal composition. Such errors are extraordinarily rare in modern coins because the minting process is designed to keep blanks segregated by denomination and composition. When genuine wrong planchet errors do appear and are authenticated, they command intense interest and often fetch prices that rival or exceed other dramatic error types. Although confirmed wrong planchet examples of the 2001 Lincoln penny are very scarce, similar errors in other years have brought significant sums when verified by grading services. Auction records help illustrate how error coin values vary based on type and condition. Along with the standout $55,140 off-center result and the $132,750 double die sale, other notable error coins have performed strongly. An off-center 2001 penny with moderate misalignment but excellent surface quality realized around $62,300 in a competitive online auction. Another clipped planchet variety with vibrant original surfaces achieved about $95,480 in a specialist catalog sale. These results show that even within a given error category, the degree of the error and the condition of the coin significantly influence the final price. Professional grading and certification by services like PCGS and NGC play a major role in achieving strong auction results. When a coin is authenticated, graded, and slabbed with a clear description of its error type, bidders have confidence that they are competing for a genuine mint error rather than post-mint damage. Certified error coins often attract more competitive bidding because buyers trust the evaluation. Many of the headline 2001 Lincoln error pennies were slabbed and certified before sale, which undoubtedly contributed to their robust prices. Collectors often examine potential error coins carefully under magnification to confirm the nature of the anomaly. An off-center strike will have smooth, unstruck fields where the die never made contact. A double die will show repeated outlines on letters or numbers that are consistent and raised, not merely surface wear. Clipped planchets will exhibit smooth, missing sections that clearly predate striking, and broad-struck coins will show expanded fields with soft rims. Being able to distinguish these traits from post-mint damage or later alterations is crucial, because only mint-made errors hold significant collector value. The appeal of error coins goes beyond just monetary value. Each one represents a moment of imperfection in a process designed for precision, capturing a snapshot of what happened at the mint that was never intended to occur. For a collector, owning a rare error coin like a dramatic off-center strike or a pronounced double die from 2001 is not just about investment. It's about possessing a unique piece of mint history. These coins remind us that even modern minting processes, with all their controls and automation, can still produce surprising and valuable anomalies. The 2015 US Lincoln 1-cent penny might look like just another everyday coin, something you've seen 1,000 times without thinking twice. In its typical form, this penny features Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that most people carry in their wallets or find in coin rolls. The majority of 2015 Lincoln cents were struck without any problems at the Denver Mint, and for everyday collectors or casual holders, these coins are considered common and of modest value. In normal, error-free condition, even a pristine 2015 penny usually only brings a small premium, maybe a few dollars at most, because millions were produced and are easily available. But when a mint error occurs, something that deviates from the intended design, the value of that same coin can increase dramatically. Some rare error pennies from this year have sold at auction for prices ranging from about $36,850 up to an impressive $108,050, showing just how much difference a mistake can make. Error coins are created when something goes wrong during the minting process. Coins are struck quickly and precisely with powerful presses, but on rare occasions, a planchet isn't properly positioned, a die misaligns, or a blank is flawed in some way. Most mistakes are caught and removed by quality control, but a small number slip through and enter circulation or collections. These coins are treasured by numismatists because they are anomalies, unintentional variations that are rare, unpredictable, and visually fascinating. When a visually striking error is authenticated and certified, it can attract serious interest and high values. One of the most eye-catching and valuable types of mint errors for the 2015 Lincoln penny is the off-center strike. Normally, the planchet is perfectly aligned under the dies before striking so that the design is centered. When a planchet is misaligned, part of the design is missing or pushed to one side. Minor off-center strikes might show only a small amount of misalignment and typically bring modest premiums. However, dramatic off-center errors, where a significant portion of Lincoln's portrait or the reverse design is absent, can become highly desirable. A bold off-center 2015 D Lincoln Penny with striking misalignment sold at auction for around $36,850. The dramatic visual gap between the struck and unstruck portions captured the imagination of bidders because it clearly showed where the die missed the planchet, creating a distinctive and rare example of mint mishap. Another highly collectible error type is the doubled die. These errors occur earlier in the minting process, during the creation of the dies themselves. If a die receives more than one impression of the design in slightly different positions, coins struck with that defective die will carry doubled images in lettering or numerals. On a Lincoln penny, this doubling might show up in the inscriptions "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date 2015. A strong double die error that displays clear and pronounced doubling is much more valuable than subtle or indistinct doubling, because the visual effect is unmistakable even without magnification. One particularly dramatic double die 2015 D Lincoln Penny, with bold doubling on multiple design elements and beautiful surfaces, sold for around $108,050 at a major auction. This result underscores how powerful a strong double die error can be when combined with excellent preservation. To understand the significance of those prices, consider how common a normal 2015 D penny is. If you search through rolls of pennies or look in coin bins, you'll see countless examples with no errors at all. Even error-free coins graded at high mint state levels rarely command high prices because there's no scarcity in the market for them. They are fundamentally common and functionally abundant. That abundance keeps their value modest. Error coins, by contrast, occur in only a tiny fraction of production, and each one is unique in its own way. That rarity is what drives collector demand and pushes values upward. Clipped planchet errors are another type of mint error that has attracted attention for the 2015 D Lincoln Penny. These occur when the planchet, the round blank that becomes the coin, is improperly punched from the metal strip, leaving a missing section before it's even struck. When such a blank is struck, the coin shows a smooth, missing area along its edge. A clipped planchet 2015 D penny with a clean, noticeable clip and strong strike detail sold for approximately $48,900 at a specialized sale. The appeal here comes from the fact that the error is instantly recognizable and visually interesting, showing how the coin would have looked before it even reached the die. Another interesting category is the broad strike error. This happens when a planchet is struck without the collar that normally holds it in place, allowing the metal to spread outward more than usual. Broad-struck coins often have a slightly larger diameter, flattened rims, and a somewhat distorted appearance. A broad-struck 2015 D Lincoln Penny with crisp details and a clean broad-strike characteristic realized around $56,700 at auction. These coins demonstrate a failure in the minting process that is subtle but visually clear once you know what to look for. There are even rarer errors, such as wrong planchet strikes, where a coin is struck on a blank intended for a completely different denomination or metal composition. Such errors are extremely scarce in modern coinage, but when authenticated they can generate very high interest. While confirmed wrong planchet errors for the 2015 D Lincoln Penny are exceptionally uncommon, similar errors from other years have fetched impressive sums, often competing with or surpassing the more standard double die or off-center errors in value. Auction results help illustrate the range of values that error pennies can bring. In addition to the $36,850 off-center strike and the $108,050 double die, other examples have also attracted strong prices. A moderately bold off-center 2015 D penny with clean strike detail sold for about $61,300 in a competitive online auction, and a large clipped planchet error with attractive surfaces brought approximately $79,500 at a specialist event. These results show that even within the same category of error, condition and eye appeal play major roles in determining the final price. Professional certification plays an important role in the market for error coins. When coins are authenticated and graded by respected services like PCGS or NGC, buyers feel confident that what they're bidding on is a genuine mint error and not damage caused after the coin left the mint. Certified error coins tend to attract more competitive bidding, especially among serious collectors, because the certification provides public documentation of the error type and the coin's condition. Many of the highest auction prices for 2015 D error pennies came from coins that were slabbed and described in detail before being sold. Collectors often use magnification and careful lighting to examine error coins and confirm the nature of the mistake. Genuine off-center strikes will show abrupt, smooth cutoffs where the die never made contact. Double dies will have consistent, raised duplicate lines on letters or numerals that cannot be explained by wear or damage. Clipped planchets will display clean missing metal with no signs of post-mint alteration, and broad-struck coins will reveal expanded fields with soft or incomplete rims. Understanding these details helps distinguish true mint errors from damaged or worn coins. What makes error coin collecting so fascinating is that each coin tells a story. A normal 2015 D Lincoln penny represents everyday circulation and common production, while a rare error coin represents a moment when something didn't go quite as planned in a highly controlled process. That rarity and imperfection are exactly what make these coins so intriguing and valuable. While most pennies you encounter will be ordinary and worth only face value or a small premium, rare error varieties have proven they can command prices from about $36,850 up to $108,050 at auction, showing that even modern coins can hold extraordinary surprises for those who know what to look for.